Father and son.
Father and son, oh father and son,
oh father and son, review it all. Father and son, review it all.
Yep.
It's 2019.
It is 2019.
This will be our first, is this the first review of 2019?
It is the first review of 2019. Right. Not the first posted, but it's the first.
No, it's the first review. Okay, so we're going to go back in time to last year and do a review that we were supposed to do, but because time passes so quickly, right?
Yeah.
It's amazing how long ago this was.
It is.
So when did we go? We're going to do a review on the legendary Sun Studios in Memphis, Tennessee. It was part of our vacation last year when we went to see Graceland, and we had to stop at Sun Studio. So my question to you is, prior to going to Sun Studio, did you know what it was?
Not really, no.
You'd never heard of it or anything?
I heard a little few things here and there about it, but not much.
Because I knew about it, of course. I am musically inclined. I do play some instruments. And I'm familiar with Sun Studio, but not, too much of the history. So going down there is something I definitely was interested in checking out. And I didn't realize just how important that studio was until we were there. And I gained a new appreciation for it. The tour was great. The tour guide was great. And what did you think after we went?
I thought it was pretty interesting. And we got to see all these old relics from the past.
Yeah, they had all kinds of cool stuff in there. Things, instruments people had used and clothing and things of that nature. But for me, being able to stand in the spot where Elvis Presley was, Jerry Lee Lewis, Roy Orbison, standing and being in the studio. And very little has changed from when those people were there.
Yeah.
And they made a point of letting you know that, like, the paint that's in there is the original paint. Everything's original. They really haven't done anything with the studio. It was for me, it was really incredible. And there was an artifact, a microphone that's there, that Sam Phillips. Now, Sam Phillips created the studio in 1950. And he was the producer, owner of the studio. And I guess when he died, he gave one of 5 original microphones that he had to the studio. And he wanted to be sure that anybody that visiting could touch the microphones, or this one in particular, and pose with it or do whatever, take pictures with it. Because pretty much anybody that ever recorded there used that microphone. So you got to hold the microphone that Elvis most likely used, played with, Jerry Lee Lewis, all these people, all these famous people, B.B. King, all these guys that performed there, guys, women, whatever, all the bands and everything. It was really cool. It was a great tour. It's not a huge tour. It doesn't get away from you, right?
Right.
It's not keeping you awake like we're trying to do with him right now, But it was really fascinating. We picked up next door. It's a cafe, and you wait your turn to go through the tour, and we got our Sun Studio shirts. See, here you go. We have yet to even wear those. We were waiting to do the review. Yes. So I can't wait to wear my Sun Studio shirt. We got all these little doodads. I got stickers and a magnet and a patch. The patch is pretty cool. I like the patch. But, so what really did you learn from the tour, from what you remember now?
I mean, there was that one thing about Hound Dog, how it was originally made by that...
Yeah, somebody else made it, and I wish I could remember it now.
Yeah.
Somebody else made it, and wasn't it like it phrased a little differently or something?
Yeah.
I can't remember.
Was Bearcat in retaliation to
Hound
Dog,
somebody else released...
Bearcat was Hound Dog in retaliation to Bearcat.
Yes, so one or the other. There was, it was cool. I mean, there's all the inner workings of it. It's really hard to explain for us, to explain it to you, even though we're doing a review. We really should be able to explain it, right?
Yeah.
It was great. It was fantastic. If you're down there in the area, I suggest go check it out. I mean, if you've ever listened to music, this is like, it's called the birthplace of rock and roll. And it really is. And its most notable person that came out of there is who? Elvis Presley.
Yeah.
One thing that I really learned that was pretty interesting was his secretary, Sam Phillips' secretary, is really the unsung hero of the place. And without her, we might not have any of the modern music we have today.
Yeah.
Because her name is Marian Keisker. Keisker? I think it's Keisker, isn't it? Anyways, That's her name, Marion Keisker. I don't know the correct pronunciation of it, but
Keisker.
Without her, I guess she was the first one to record Elvis in the studio. Yeah. They have a policy to get people in the door that they would record anybody, anytime, anywhere. And so people could come in for a small fee and record. So anybody could go there. You didn't have to be invited. You could go. Elvis was recording there, and this Marion Keisker, she felt that he had something, and Sam Phillips wasn't interested. They said it, took a year of her trying to push Sam Phillips to listen to Elvis, and he didn't want anything to do with it for various reasons, and you can look it up. They tell you the story as to why, and it's really interesting. So the thing was, not only was she instrumental in making that happen, when they talked about the building itself, the walls being painted, the floors being put in, all the soundproofing material of it, she did it all. She did all that stuff. And she was, very instrumental running the place in general. And it almost sounds to me like she was more important than Sam Phillips. I'm sure there's plenty out there that are going to disagree with me, but Marion Keisker, she's the unsung hero as far as I'm concerned. From what they told us in the tour and the amount of things that she did, she was more than just behind the scenes, even though Sam Phillips was the guy maybe taking most of the credit. He couldn't have done this stuff without her. So, sun's up to you, Marion, wherever you are. She's very important to the thing. I like that. What else was I going to do? I didn't have a drink or anything, so couldn't try. Next time I'm out, we have a drink. We have a nice little soda. Maybe on our next review, we're going to give her a toast. How does that sound?
That would be good.
Okay, so we can do that. But really, it was really cool to see that. And the famous photo of the $1 Million Quartet.
Yeah.
You know who was in the $1 Million Quartet? Do you remember?
Elvis.
Carl Perkins. Right?
Yeah.
Jerry Lee Lewis.
Yeah.
And who else?
Elvis.
What other museum was down there?
Oh, Johnny Cash.
Johnny Cash. $1 Million Quartet, where that famous photo was taken, where they're sitting at the piano and they're all standing around singing. Where that was taken, they have a picture on the wall right where that was taken in the studio. And you can stand, and they have a piano sitting there. It's not the exact piano, but it's a replica.
Wasn't there a cigarette burn mark?
Yeah, Jerry Lee Lewis. The piano that's in there now, Jerry Lee Lewis got ticked off because he's a hothead, and he burned the piano keys. I guess he slammed the thing around. He got nasty. But you can sit right there, right where they took the picture. And to me, that was really cool. That was a big thrill. And again, it's not changed. It's the same thing. It's incredible.
Yeah.
You're looking at me all evil for. We got to sit at the drum sets and, mess around in the studio for a few minutes.
It was really cool seeing all these things that so many famous people have worked with.
Yeah. And to see stuff on TV and then to be actually standing where it happened. They had X's on the floor with tape where other photos, famous photos were taken. And the X's were to note, like, this is where Elvis stood and this is where whoever else stood or whatever.
That didn't really work well because your hands were...
people couldn't see it.
Yeah.
Well, I think they got the idea.
Yeah, probably.
They got the idea. So I'm just talking with my hands. And I'm talking to you. So you saw it, right? You understood.
I saw it.
So,
I understood.
Anyway, they also said that at one point in time, what was the limo? A limo pulled up, right?
Oh.
And who got out of the limo? Yeah, him. So Bob Dylan got out of a limo and went into the studio and asked, I guess, which one of the X's, here I'm pointing now, which one of the X's did Elvis stand on? And it was pointed out which one he stood on. And he got down on his hands and knees and he kissed the X and then left. That's pretty crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's how important the studio was.
Wow.
I'm sure most of the people out there have heard of Bob Dylan, right? He actually kissed the ground that Elvis was on. So what does that tell you? That's amazing. Isn't it amazing?
It is amazing.
So, I don't know. What else can we tell about the studio? It's worth checking out, definitely.
Yeah.
He knew nothing of what it was prior to. He enjoyed it. It was a great tour. They did a nice little preview of, how it came to be. You really give you a lot of info. What do you got to add for this? Without yawning. Boy, he's having a rough one. This is rough for him.
I'm not even tired. I just keep yawning. Nothing much. I think we pretty much covered all the major bits.
Could you recommend it?
I would recommend it. It was nice to learn all this stuff, and they had little drinks there. What was that one I had?
Oh, didn't you have, like, the Great Balls of Fire or something?
Great Ball of Fire.
Yeah, and the little cafe next to it. Yeah, or it was Great Balls of Fire, wasn't it?
Great Balls of Fire?
Yeah. It was Jerry Lee Lewis. Goodness gracious, Great Balls of Fire!
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, that's the one he got. It was a drink that he got. There was no alcohol in it.
No alcoholic
beverages. Was it ice cream?
It was like
ice cream and cinnamon sauce or something.
And like,
look it up on our website. Go to Sun Studio. I'm
you
sure
can
it's
put a link in the description.
I'm going to. I will put a link in the description to Sun Studio. Go check it out. It's worth it. Great tour, fun time, excellent. You'll learn something. So we give it a thumbs up.
Thumbs up.
Thumbs up.
Thumbs up.
There you go. I'll hold up some stickers. Stickers.
Up, guns up.
Okay. That's guns up. Guns up. You're firing blanks, kid.
Thumbs up, guns up.
All right. For Father and Son Review It All, I am the Big Chris.
And I am Little Chris.
See ya!
Have
good YouTube!